Hello fellow YouTubers, this is XallZall Rising. Welcome to another tutorial. I'm glad you're sticking around, and this time we're gonna do finally the mask for the satellite image and the mask for just defining where stuff should spawn, such as grass and so forth. So let me just show you exactly what we're gonna do today. So this is kind of what we're aiming for. So from a top view, of course, this is what will be applied to the island. Here we can see there's grass, everything else is going to be pretty much just sand. It's the water areas, some mountains, roads, and so forth. Now, as you can see, the quality here is not so high because I didn't go for it. I'm just making a tutorial. However you guys want to do it, how much detail, how much time you want to invest, that is going to be entirely up to you. I'm only just going to show you how to do so. So this is obviously then the satellite image. And you can see where the grass is supposed to be, but the game won't have any grass here yet. That's why we need to make something like this. Now this here is the mask LCO, and what it does, it tells Arma to, tell you where's what belongs. So anything here, for instance, which is green, tells Arma, okay, here you have to spawn grass. Brown is here in this case just open field, meaningly there is nothing there. I defined the mountains as pavements, surprisingly here, just for the example. And again, yellow is for sand, so if you walk around in these areas, it will make more of a sand crunchy noise as far as I'm concerned. So let's get started. And what we want to start off with is opening up our visitor 3. And once we have visitor 3 open, we want to open up our world. So, oops. Have to find where I saved it. Okay. Now I noticed lately I've been getting this issue that I can't zoom out enough. If you're having that, just go to this zoom out here on the lens and just click it a few times in case you're getting any of that issue. Okay. Now as you can see, if I zoom out completely, my map is a little bit off center. And what we need to do as a first step is to basically get an image of this here so we know where to draw our textures. We can't just be drawing around randomly and then hoping that it's going to fit. We need to know exactly where to draw. We need to have the shape and we need to have the size as well. So therefore we go to project and we go to export terrain into picture. Or am I clicking the wrong one? Export map as image. Yeah. I think so, yeah. Okay, so now we're going to create a new folder here just to save stuff and stay a little bit organized. And we're going to call just this map stuff. We click alright, we open it up. And now here, you make sure that you put a 0 and 0, otherwise it's going to be way too small. So these are the pixel amounts. If you just leave it as it is without adding the 0 to it, it's just going to be way too small and you're only going to see pixels. It's going to be terrible. So we're going to call this original. And unfortunately I can only save it as an EMF file, so whatever, we just save it. So I'm going to minimize this stuff here. I'm going to open up our map stuff. And surprisingly, we can open this up with our paint. So let's go ahead and right click, open with paint. You can hold on Ctrl and you can then use the mouse wheel to scroll out, and you can see it is here indeed if you don't see your map at first glance. All what we want to do in here is click on up here on this thingy, save as, and we save it as a PNG file. We click OK, and we click alright there as well. Now we minimize this, and indeed we can see it. So let's go and do some preparation before we proceed. And these preparations are going to be the masks stuff. So in the description below, you're going to find this here, and go ahead and download that. And when you open it up, you should see tons of new stuff here. So I'm going to just bring this to the side here. I'm going to close this down since I don't need it. And where you want to put these is wherever your island is. So I'm going to go back all the way, workspace, then in my case it's little island, then data, I think, yeah. And you want to drag it in here. Now you might remember the last time there was the SM grass. Now there's basically just a lot more stuff. So we just, as you can see, mine already has there, but I'm just going to drop it in anyway, just for the sake of the tutorial. We can close that down, and it's all good. Now, before we proceed though, we still need to prep these stuff because mine is, as the name suggests, low island. So again, you want to basically, if it's not sorted by, you just right click and then sort by type. And you want to only focus on these RVMATS stuff. So what you want to do is open up with any type of text editor, and this is what I want you to pay attention to. So I'm just going to close these down. So again, you have to define your workspace. In my case, it's obviously workspace. If you followed this tutorial explicitly till now, then it should be the same by you. And again, you want to define your island. So in my case, low island. And once again, you can do a ctrl and F, and you can then replace all here. So make sure you do this for every single one of them. So that one, then the next one, here too, workspace. And here you can see actually this one's wrong by me, so I better fix that. Replace all. And Blood Island, SM Grass, that's all good as well. Save. So yeah, I might as well check since there was an error there. Again, workspace, Low Island, that's all good. 2 more to go. And here too, workspace, Low Island, all good, both are fine. And last but not least, the Mesto too. And here we go. Workspace, Low Island. Alright, so with that all done, I just want to bring this up to explain what certain things are. So I'm just going to put this stuff here in comparison so that we exactly know what's going on here. So we'll have to define what is what. And here you can see Piesk, which can be found here, is going to be the sand. Travia is grass. So where is that? There it is, Travia G. So I don't know why it's separated because I have no idea what that south is. So here it says G is south, so I'm just going to ignore that because I have no idea what that is. Mesto is city, so I'm guessing that's going to make like a pavement noise. Mesto is here. And pole is field, so I'm guessing like anywhere where it's just raw dirt. And that would be defined here. Pole 1. Okay, I'm going to put this aside again so that now we know what the hell we're doing here. And once again, I'm going to send you another stuff to download, which is going to be the layers.cfg. You can also pause this video and just copy it that way if you want to, but whatever. So I'm going to open this up. And basically what we're interested in here is that the layout is like this. You have to, like, for instance, class SM Grass. Again, you can see the workspace is all highlighted. Make sure that this is correct. And the island is specified, in this case, Log Island. And here once more, Piesk, and so forth. Now the interesting thing here, what we have to pay attention to, is that these things have colors that we have to keep in border with. For Piesk, which is sand, as you can see, the green value, so since this is RGB, so green is on mask. Or on maximum, which is 255. Can't go higher than that, and 0 being the lowest. So these make up the colors. So let's just keep this in mind. And I'll also provide this for you to download. I can just compress it right now here. So this is how it should look at the download thingy by you later on. And we can move on. Okay, next we need some kind of image editor software. In my case, it's going to be Photoshop. So whatever you have, you can use it as long as you can have masks, a marquee tool, and mask, marquee tool, and I don't know what else we need. Mask and marquee tool. Well, anyway, we import then our original image here, and we throw it in here. And I already tried recording this a good few times and I ran into an interesting bug, so we're going to fix this right off the get-go to make sure that we don't forget. So what we want to do here is go to our canvas size, and believe it or not, the program was bitching to me because it was 1 pixel bigger by default. And I was getting errors and I was confused and I was like wondering why the hell. So make sure that this is correct and is set to such. We click OK, we proceed. It's going to clip something off. Who cares? Alright, since I like to be tidy, I'm going to change this to just original or whatever. And I'm using Ctrl and Shift and N. You can create a new layer. And you don't have to give this a name, because as soon as we drag something in, it will change the name accordingly. So we want to go back to our map stuff, and we want to create a new folder, and we want to call this textures. And then what we want to do is go to Google, and we want to write in anything texture. So in my case, I already have this grass here selected. You can go around and just download whatever you want. So I'm just going to save it as grass. Next one, this is going to be for a mountain. Save as. Next is sand. Sand. And then last but not least, pavement. And the reason I left this one here open is this is, you can again see how I look for certain textures. So you just write in whatever you want and textures, and that can be even a smiley face for all I care. Whatever suits your needs, you know. Another thing to pay attention to is the seamless. If you want seamless stuff, what it basically just means, if I take this picture and put it right next to each other or above it or below it, it's going to appear like that it belongs to a single unit. So you won't get these terrible, you know, where you just see that it's repeating itself. So this is basically, seamless means it's just not so obvious that it repeats itself. And we're going to save this here as well. And that's all good. So I'm going to minimize this stuff here. Now we have our textures here. Oh, I forgot actually one, so I'll just go for it. We need some dirt texture. So let's see. I'm going to go with this one here. Or this one here, it doesn't really matter. Alright, we'll go for it. And we're going to just call this dirt. Okie dokie. So that's all good and settled. And just want to keep... Yeah, I'm just going to close that. Alright, so I'm going to start off with the sand. I'm just going to drag it in here. And what we're now going to pay attention to is that we're going to zoom in a little. As you can see, it already actually hasn't named it yet. And we're just going to drag this down by a good bit. And sorry that it's going to lag a little bit. For whatever reason, if I'm running Photoshop and recording at the same time and using these textures, which is pretty big, it tends to lag for whatever reason. I can't really avoid that. I'm sorry about that. So, oh god. Hope it's not going to stay this laggy. It's horrible. So I'm just going to click enter and hope that it's not it's going to prevent that it's going to lag so much. If you place the layer in here, do a right click and do to raster layer then. And what I'm going to do now is just to select this here. What you can just basically do if you are not so precise is just to click and drag like that, and you already have it selected. But I would just want to select everything very accurately, and to do that you just do the marquee tool anywhere, click on select, and it grows. If you click on here and grow, and now it's selected everything but this. So what we do is right click and select inverse, and now it's just selecting this, and you can see it has every single thing selected. So being still in the marquee menu, by clicking M, you can do a right click, free transform, and again I think it helps a little bit with the lag if I firstly paste it in and whatnot. So we want to kind of scale it down that it looks reasonable enough. You have to imagine your character would be walking around here, and this would be like a huge thing. So we're just gonna make it considerably small, like such. Now we click on C or go here with the mouse and look for your crop tool, and we're just gonna double click or click double enter on our keyboard, and there we go. then we have only a single view of this sand texture. What we want to do next is click on Edit, and we want to click on Define Pattern. And we're just going to call this sand underscore texture. I don't know if you need that underscore, but just in case. Now we click on either File and Undo Crop, or like it says here, Ctrl and Z to go one back. Now we go back here, and I'm just going to get rid of the crop tool, and we're going to get rid of this by deleting it. Now we go to our paint bucket. You can also click G for a shortcut, and we want to go from foreground to pattern, and from the pattern we want to select our newly defined sand texture. I'm going to zoom out here a little so we can see the whole thing, and I'm just going to click once, and basically now the entire field is only sand, and that's what we want to go for every single one of them. Now we also want to click this eye icon here so we make it invisible, and we can move on to the next one by creating a new layer. Again, Ctrl and Shift N, and we create a new layer and click OK. Now, so guys, in the future, let me know if you want me to skip repetitive stuff, because what I'm going to do basically now is do the very same thing for each and every other texture that comes up here. So sand, in this case, then I'm going to do mountain. You know, I might just cut the video, but I don't know. Let me guys know, like, in the future. If you want it this way, how I'm doing it, so that you can listen along and, you know, view along while you're doing it, it's fine. If you just like to pause the video and then, you know, just do one thing, and then when you did it all for yourself as well, like did all the textures here for the mountain, sand, and so forth, and then, you know, maybe click play then afterwards. So I don't know, you guys have to let me know. Okay, so again, select, grow, selects everything but this here, then right click, select inverse, then we click on right click, free transform, click here on the top top border here, holding shift, I scale it down, and here again I use it to compare. Oh, there you go, that's what happens if you don't hold on shift, it stretches the image out, but like this it keeps the aspect ratio. Okay, now I drag it here to compare it, since that's the mountain there, and that seems to be fine. So again, C, double enter, edit, define pattern, mountain underscore texture, click OK, Ctrl and V, Ctrl and V, oops, just once, click on something else, delete, G for the bucket tool, whoops, I clicked the sand, select the right one, now paste it in the entire field, and that's the mountains done. Next one, grass, click enter, marquee tool, put it somewhere, select, grow, right click, select inverse, right click, oops, first we have to raster the layer. I'm clicking stuff here, oh goodness, what did I click now? Alright, raster layer. And now free transform, scale it way down. Seems to be okay. I'm just gonna zoom in here just to make sure that it seems alright. You can see that it's still way too big, so I'm just gonna scale it down even further. Up until here. This seems okay. Now again, C for a crop tool, double click, enter, edit, define pattern, grass underscore texture, click OK. Let's go back, let's click something else, let's remove our grass texture here, click again somewhere else to get rid of the marquee tool, G to bring it up, the paint bucket, whoops, and select according the right texture, paint bucket once to the whole thing, and that's the grass done. We unthick it, new layer, and what's next? Dirt. Okay, same process as before. God damn these legs. Yeah, I clicked backspace because, again, for a moment, you know, I just let shift go, and I should just paste it in first and then raster the layer, then go to the marquee tool, select, grow, right click, select inverse, right click, free transform, shift click all the way down, get it as small as possible. That's okay. C, crop, double enter, edit, define pattern, dirt underscore texture, and that's all good as well. Ctrl Z, click something else, remove, G for the paint bucket, select the right pattern once more, fill the whole thing in, and that's the dirt done, and only one more to go, which is the last one. Let's see. And the last one is the pavement. And same procedure as before. Just raster the layer, select somewhere, select grow, select inverse, select free transform, shift click scale down, scale way down in this case. C for crop, double enter, edit, define pattern. Looks like I went too fast. It didn't let me select the define pattern. Alright, here we go. Pavement underscore texture. Ctrl Z. Click somewhere else. Find where I pasted that. Get rid of that. G for the bucket tool. Now let's fill it in. And that's all good and done. And pavement, it didn't rename itself. Okay, when we're finally at this stage, what we want to do is start off by organizing how things are supposed to be. The lowest layer being obviously the lowest, and anything above it is going to stack above it. So I want to have sand as the basic layer. So sand is going to cover the entire landscape. That means if you go underwater there'll be sand. And then from there on we can, you know, define where grass should be and so forth. So what we want to do is we want to select each and every one of them and give it a mask, which is this image here. Now mask is basically black and white. Anything that is white is visible in the mask, so you have to make sure that you select this here, and anything that's black will become invisible. So now I'm going to just organize how the layer structure should be. So I want sand to be the very basic. Next one I want is the grass to be the next layer, dirt to be the next layer, mountain, and pavement. So pavements kind of goes over everything. So if you know, if we make now a brush stroke or whatever, the pavement can go from the grass up to the mountain. It's just going to be the most dominant one. It has, you know, can overwrite all the others. So basically everything that is above the other one can overwrite each other. So sand we're going to ignore, because if I let it checked, it's already, as you can see, the whole field is already covered in sand, which is good. Now the next step, I want to make the entire field of the island to be only grass texture. To do this, what we're going to do is select the right layer first of all, then go for the magic wand tool. When we click, actually, go to the original image. We need to go to the original image. So, if we click it once, you can see then, if I zoom in, here you might notice that it selects just the island. Anything around it. Of course, anything that's inside the island needs to be selected as well. So I'm gonna shift click and select these little holes here. I'm just gonna zoom in so I can see it better and get all of them. Okay, that might be all. So with that done, what I'm gonna now do is go back to the marquee tool, and I'm gonna select inverse, and now it's only the island selected. Before that it was actually the sea and the island was not selected, so sorry about that, I explained it the wrong way. Now we want to go back to the grass, we want to tick it on, so that we should only see the grass in any moment right now. It's just lagging by me. And you want to make sure that you're on the mask layer, so I click there. I'm going to zoom out a little so we can see the entire thing. And now we're going to select black and make sure that it's the darkest of darkest. And we're going to click a brush tool. I'm just going to make my brush tool a lot bigger. And then we're going to paint over here. Where is it? Oh god. So yeah, I'm explaining the wrong way, so it looks like I did it right the other way, so I'm going to select inverse again. Sorry about the confusion. As we see now, as I paint black here, it gets rid of the sand, or sand, god, I'm talking everything but the right things here, so gets rid of the whole grass here, so sorry about that. Oh god, I'm making things confusing. It's not good. Okay, I suppose you can also do this with the bucket tool. I'm just gonna try it. Make sure that it's the foreground. Yeah, well, kinda, but as you can see, there's still some lines here that might not be visible. I'm just gonna go over it again, just in case, with the brush tool. Only problem by using the brush tool here is that it's laggy. I suppose it's just better if you have a really big brush and just go over it. Okay, let's see. Seems all good. As you can see now, only the island is affected by the grass. So when we're satisfied with that, we can either leave the layer on or we can set the opacity somewhat lower. So if I go here, set the opacity. The reason why we would set the opacity somewhat lower is so that we can see through, and you can see now that we can see the shape of where the mountain should be. I'm gonna actually set it lower just for the sake that you guys can see better, because I can actually see it. I don't know if you guys can. So here it's now a little bit more obvious that here is where the mountain is supposed to be. So since dirt is the next one on our list, I'm just going to click it. You don't actually have to make it visible just yet. You can then use the lasso tool, and then you can take advantage of your graphics tablet if you have anything like that, and you can also then draw very accurately where you want it. So I'm going to click on Shift and D to get rid of the marquee tool, and I'm going to just put a patch of dirt here. So using the mouse, I'm just going to make a shape like so. And now I'm gonna turn on the dirt texture here, and I'm gonna zoom out, select the brush again. I'm gonna make the brush a lot bigger, so yeah, fuck it, we're gonna go as big as it goes. And yeah, I selected the wrong layer, so go to your mask here and make sure that it's black again, and I'm just gonna go over the whole thing. Am I doing it right? No, I'm doing it wrong again. Marquee tool, select inverse. So everything but that. I'll just mess around with the inverse, I suppose. And here in any second now. There we go. And that's gonna load by me. Okay, that's all good and done as well. And now we can see, if I zoom back in again, there is our little patch of dirt. So next one is the mountain. Select D to get rid of the whatever you want to call it, the marquee tool. Select the lasso tool. Here I'm going to trace the mountain, and of course it becomes, the quality is entirely up to you, really. You know how much time you want to invest, how accurate you want to be. It's entirely up to you. So I'm going to zoom out again. Activate it, select the right texture, right click, select inverse. Okay, Now the brush again, B for brush by the way, and shortcut. Let's get rid of all that. I really hope this tutorial is not confusing, because I kind of am confused with the inverse and whatnot stuff here myself a little, as you can see, or I'm just mis-talking. Alright, now zooming back in again, let the computer update, because I don't know, it's just slow today. Okay, there we go, and there you can see that the mountain has been actually applied. Although I forgot about this here, so I'm just gonna quickly go over this as well. Here I want some too. And now the thing is, this is the good thing why we do it this method, because as you can see, we are not deleting anything at all, because now it seems like we deleted stuff, but if we go back to our brush tool now again, we only have to brush it with white color instead of the black one, and there you go. And you'll see this in a minute. By the pavement, we're actually going to do it this way. So I'm going to select the pavement here, the pavement mask, Ctrl and D to deselect, and I'm going to go for the paint bucket, and I'm going to paste everything, or fill everything in white in this case. So in my case then, I'm going to go back to the brush tool. My city would be technically on this little spot here. And now since we can see that the entire pavement is black, what we can just do is just have to wait until that gets gone. We can set the size somewhat smaller, and we can then actually make sure it's white. You can kind of just, you know, define how things are supposed to be, like so. And you can kind of make pavement walkways or roads or anything like this as well, but not the real roads, but textures, you know. So if you wanted to have a road, you can, you know, define the texture. Maybe like, you know, put an Arma road over this, something like that. And again, it really is up to you how much quality and time you want to put in here, how much precision and accuracy, because obviously you can see mine's looks pretty just scribbled there, you know. I mean, like these lines here are not nice and straight and whatnot, so it looks silly. Okay. Now last but not least, we have of course our sand texture, which I'm going to turn on again, and if everything went well, it should be, I'm just going to set the opacity back on the grass layer to 100. It should look as I showed you before, but we're going to do a little trick here. Well, it's not really a trick, it's just going to select the grass again, because the grass selected everything of the island, and we can then just go back to the grass here, click the mask, and we can then use black to get rid of some points. And I'm going to paint in here a little so that the sand comes in. So basically what I'm just creating is a beach, and here again just remove a little bit here, and it cuts into the island, so to say. And there we go. That's our texture done for that anyway. As you can see, you have to do sometimes quality control, because there's, for whatever reason, grass is here. I'm taking notice, but you know, it's so far out on the map that people, and it's underwater, it's not going to really actually matter. So what we're going to do next is we're going to create a new folder, and we're just going to call this sat map. And we're going to take every of the stuff that we just created. We're going to drag it in there. And when you drag it in there, make sure that the order is still maintained. So sand being the lowest and pavement being the highest there. And then you can just collapse this layer, and you can uncheck, and then it would go away. But my computer is just really slow at handling Photoshop and recording at the same time, so you can see just with a single click like that. So let's save this first as the Photoshop file, just to back it up. Original PSD is good, and then we're gonna save this then as the I'm going too quick. And then we're gonna save this as a PNG file. So let's save as, let's try it now. So here we select PNG, and we're gonna actually call this sat underscore LCO, and that should be it. And we click on OK here, and that's all good and dandy. And I'm gonna unselect just by clicking somewhere, and we're already gonna go on for doing the mask. Now what we have to pay attention to when we're doing the mask is, by opening up our layers again, what colors to use and where to put what. So again, PS, I have to check up what this was because I'm already forgetting. Where did I do that? What did I search for? Mask LCO. Just want to again explain what is what. Alright, I found the right thing again. So we're gonna start off with PSK then, which is sand. So I'm just gonna keep that in mind, and we also have to keep in mind that it's going to be green. So sand is green, defined as green. Let's close this, and we're gonna then create a new. Oops. I'm gonna just click here, new layer, and we're gonna call this grass, or what am I saying? Sand underscore mask. And sand has been defined as yellow, so oops, clicking here. So this is 0. Or God, I'm really talking all over the place today. Grass has been defined as green. What? Sand has been defined as green. Oh God. So sorry, guys. So here, this is our first one. Then we create another one, and the next one, let's see, Travaji or whatever. And now that's grass, and grass here has been defined as RGB, so this is just going to be blue. So this is going to be grass underscore blue. Underscore blue. Oh God, I'm really not focused anymore. From this point on, I'm just being ridiculous. Okay, so we go then back here, we select our grass, and we click on the mask again. Then we do a right click here, and sorry, go to the marquee tool maybe. Yeah, how did I do that? Okay, apparently you don't click on the mask, or apparently you do. Probably just lagged by me. Anyway, what you want to focus on is to get the add mask to selection. And here you can see already it's popped up. Then make sure to go back up here and then click your grass underscore mask, and we have then our paint brush, or just brush. Just gonna make the size somewhat bigger, and it has been defined again as what color? Just blue. So maximum on the blue, which is 255. Click OK. Again, my brush is way too small. I'm just gonna make it much bigger. And here we go. The entire island has been now officially covered in grass. So again, we uncheck the marquee tool. We create a new one, and which is the next one that we're gonna bother with is the mesto. And the mesto has been defined as the city, and the mesto is white, so 255, 255, 255. Okay, so we're just gonna call this city. I'm gonna select white, so you can also just write it in here to be sure if you want to like. Let's then go to our pavement, and then right click, add mask to selection. You can see it selects the pavement there. We go back to our city and click B for brush, and that's that done. Okay, what's next? Mesto has been done. Pole 1. Pole 1 is defined as field, so we're just going to create another one, new folder. Oops, I forgot to rename it, and this is field. I'm just going to pull the field under the city because I'm just going to go with the same structure as here. And field has been defined as what color again? Field. Just 255, so this one's just pure red. So 255 stays here, 0 and 0 here. And field, I suppose, is our dirt here, so right click. Actually, I just have to get rid of the selection first. Right click. There you go. It's again lagging, or I don't know why is it doing this. There we go again. Add mask to selection, and then go back again up to our field. B for brush, and that's that done. Let's see what else we have. And we have SM grass, which is not kind of funny because we have apparently two grasses. So Travigi is grass and the SM grass is grass. So whatever, we're going to have then two layers, I suppose, of grass just to be on the safe side, I suppose. So this one's 255 defined here. But nah, we're not going to go with that just for the sake, because apparently the colors are different here from the PS, which is sand, has already been defined as green, and here grass has been also defined as green. So I suppose we'll just use one. You can select which one you want, I guess. And again, we just save this, and that's our mask pretty much done. So save as. Again, too quick. Let me have a little drink here. I probably sound thirsty by now. Okay, now save as. Let's try now. Again, the PNG, and it was called mask underscore LCO. Make sure that these are the same names. And then we click OK. Now we minimize that. We go back and we select our newly created mask, as you can see. And here's our sat map. Select these two, and we copy. And we want to then go to our Arma tools, Visitor 3, no, not Visitor 3, Arma work, workspace, LOL island in my case, source, I think, yeah, source, and then we paste it in here. Now it's going to ask for me to replace, and sure enough, copy and replace, and copy and replace, and there we go. We have our stuff at the right place. So now we go back to our Visitor 3, and like in the last tutorial, we open up, where is that? Tools, import satellite plus mask. We have to then find our stuff again. I don't know why it brought me here now. So again, Arma tools, Arma work, workspace, LOL island, source, layers.cfg. We open that up. Make sure that text is selected. Click OK. It's asking for a satellite image, so we'll do that. And then the next one is the mask.lco. Now, of course, you can also just go on Google and look for satellite images, but then your map has to be in harmony with that. So you can always try to take just a random image and then just hope that it works out. But this is the accurate way of getting the exact same thing. Okay. So that has been then, I suppose, successfully applied. It's just select. Oops. It's acting up though. So I'm just going to zoom in here. And now apparently it's already on, so that's as far as this tutorial really goes. So I'm now just going to bulldoze it, and I hope that there's not going to be any errors. We'll find out in a second. Okay, I'm back again. And now, as we can see, if everything went well, we should have no complaints. Before that, I was trying this a good few times before. I was getting some complaints about the RVMATS that we were adding in. So there we go. And watch this. Isn't that cool? Oh yeah. Now, as you can see, since I was doing a messy job, the texture's a little bit all over the place, but like I said, it's really up to you how much you want to invest and how much time. Well, you can see the beach that we were talking about, that I was talking about with cutting into the landscape. There you can see. The roads, well, kind of road thingy like. Here you can see there the sand again. Here's grass everywhere, and then the rest is sand. A little island here. Now, this thing here is pretty much inevitable what's going to happen. As you can see, it's stretched. Now, this happens because all the satellite images and masks and everything that's happening with the creation is always looked at from above. So the editor and whatnot gets the information just by looking at height images, which is basically black and white, black being negative values, white being positive values. And if it goes from, reads the image from above, it just suddenly notices a sudden drop. It's like 1 pixel away from here is like maybe plus 200, and then suddenly, minus whatever. So it can't really apply the textures better than that. The only way of preventing that you get this stretched look is making it gradual. So with gradual, I mean, obviously it's not so suddenly steep, it goes a little bit, but you can see here too it's a little bit stretched, but you can't really do anything about that. And if you go in game and if you play around and if you walk especially to these type of landscapes with very steep areas, you'll notice that. So there's nothing we can really do about that. But all overall, it's looking how it's supposed to be. So this is XallZall Rising, signing off. Hey guys, if you liked this video, please consider subscribing. Also, feel free to comment, it will really help me out. For instance, I really do not know if these videos are too long. So your feedback will reflect on the upcoming videos. Also, do leave a like, it does help. And see you next time. As you guys probably noticed by now, all my videos will be upcoming on Wednesdays and or Fridays.